Hello, everybody. I'm coming on here to say hi. For those who do not know me, I'm Lais. I'm a woman empowerment coach, I'm a healer, and the recent author of this amazing book, Universe and You 11 Steps to Co-Create the Life You Desire. So, the first thing I really wanted to do is to hop on here and to say thank you to everybody who has been pre-ordering my book, who has been ordering it, and who has been tagging me on the posts once the book arrived. It fills me with so much joy to see this book in other people's hands. And there were even a few men who bought the book and sent me the pictures and were asking, can men also read this book? And yeah, of course, it's a book written for women. As a women empowerment coach, of course, I address women in this book. And in the meditations that come in the book, I ask that the women visualize the collective field of all women so that all of us women can realize our dreams, that we can tap into those dreams and make it a reality and really empower the whole collective field of all women that way. But any man who's a feminist and who loves that the women are empowered can visualize that too, right? So of course, men can also buy this book and co-create the life they desire. So again, thank you so much for everybody. I love you lots. And anyhow, today I wanted to speak about how to co-create during difficult times, specifically during this pandemic. I know a lot of my clients or friends have been struggling, have been feeling low on energy, or even deeper emotions than that. So I wanted to come on here and talk a bit about how we can make sure that we are still co-creating the good things, that we still have enough energy to go after our dreams and to keep following that vision that we have, something amazing, or to at least feel grounded and centered within ourselves. So I was asking this question on my newsletter. How have you been feeling lately? And I've been receiving a lot of beautiful, vulnerable shares by my newsletter followers. And I just wanted to read one of the beautiful ones that I received. So let me just grab my note here. So this woman wrote, I have been feeling deeply challenged lately and brought down to my knees in surrender. Wow, powerful, powerful words here. Brought down to my knees in surrender. Yet I've also felt like this is a potent time to dig deep into my shadows, and I found such light and creative power in there. Can't wait to see what next year brings in all areas of my life, especially my partnership to myself and others. Isn't that beautiful? So to the woman who sent me her vulnerable feelings and how she was feeling during the pandemic, thank you so much for reaching out. And it's something I deeply resonate with, because I think many of us felt we had to surrender because it's out of our control what's happening. And it's such a beautiful feeling to be able to do that, to surrender and to have faith and trust that, we are still able to move forward. There's still beauty to be lived. And so, as she writes, I found such light and creative power in there. I deeply resonate, because guess what? I've been writing and publishing this book during the pandemic, even though it was super hard. And I struggled sometimes, of course, as everybody else did. But it was a routine that kept me sane. My creativity kept me sane, literally. And so I found my own way of dealing with my struggles, and I do hope that everybody here who's watching this also found their own ways of coping. Nevertheless, I want to give a few tips on how to really make sure we're able to stay centered and grounded and to co-create from that space. Because when we're anxious and we're, like full of repressed or suppressed emotions and we just don't know how to deal with life anymore, if you co-create from that space, our co-creations in the end won't be that amazing or fulfilling, or we might even not co-create anything, or the opposite of what we wanted. So I do not want that to happen. So I was meditating this morning, getting some messages, and the first image they showed me, which came in quite strongly, is that many of us, subconsciously speaking, are deeply connected to the collective field. And if we speak about this pandemic or, everything that's going on at the moment, many of us, of course, have strong opinions about how things should be done, about how we should behave. Of Of course, there's a lot of polarity there too, a lot of division in terms of opinions. And so we all tap into that field no matter what opinion we have. And then we are bombarded with that tense energy, that energy of division, that energy of anger, frustration. You know, people with lots of anxiety, people of, you know, you just don't know. Everything is out there and we are connected to it the minute we keep talking about it, the minute we are deeply emotional about it. And there's nothing wrong, of course, with talking about the pandemic, being highly involved, or, you know, having your strong opinions. But they were showing me we need to learn how to cut ourselves off from that field as soon as we are done speaking or thinking about it, because otherwise we remain connected by an energetic cord. And so if you feel heavy during the day, and sometimes people ask me, you know, nothing happened in my life, but I'm feeling terrible, I'm feeling so heavy, and then I would see that they are connected to that field. And so how you can disconnect, first off, is to set the intention. I now disconnect myself from that energetic field, from that collective field, and you can visualize cutting through. Imagine there's a cord connecting you to that field above. Literally just imagine you're cutting through that field and protect your energy that way. And if you're watching this and you know you have friends or family members who are struggling a lot and who are deeply involved with what's happening, make sure that they also understand they have to cut themselves off from this energetic field, the collective field of this pandemic and all the strong opinions that are floating around, because it's deeply destabilizing to always stay in that energy. It deeply ungrounds us. So having said that, for all the rest, you keep your normal mindfulness routines that you already have going on, be it journaling, be it meditation, be it a grounding practice where you visualize roots growing out of your feet and you just feel like a tree that is deeply rooted and grounded. I found that for me, during this pandemic, I had to do it much more often than usual and visualize even bigger roots, going even deeper, and like really feel like my roots are all over the earth, really deeply rooted to the core of the earth, because that's how easily ungrounded I felt otherwise if I didn't do it. So keep doing your mindfulness routines, whatever works for you. Always clients ask me, what is my mindfulness routine? It really differs. So sometimes it's dancing, sometimes it's journaling, sometimes it's both, sometimes, you know, it's walking outside with my puppy, whatever I feel I need in the moment, that helps me bring myself back to the present moment. So, what else did I want to share? Yes, and then in terms of the co-creation itself, once you cleared yourself off of that energetic field, the collective field of this pandemic and all the strong opinions, and you're feeling more balanced and centered and rooted, you can do whatever practices you have to co-create yourself, or if you want to know how to learn it, I have it in my book, of course, through the 11 steps. Many of the steps, all of the steps actually come with meditations, guided meditations. Otherwise, use your own routines, your own co-creation, manifesting rituals that you have after you cleared yourself, and continue doing what you're doing. And on top, I'm gonna shuffle these beautiful cards. I'm gonna get one more message for all of us, the collective field of people, women or men who are watching this and are also interested. How to co-create powerfully, effectively when we are not feeling great, when the pandemic brought us to our knees, when we are just feeling desperate. What else can we do other than what I already said, cutting us off from this collective field? I'm gonna pick a card for an additional insight. There it is. Oof, gosh. So I hope you can see it. It's in French, la repression. So here you see a guy like deeply in pain. There's all these black colors and he's stuck. There's all these, like he's handcuffed. There's this, he cannot move. He's deeply stuck with the cords around him. Plus his head is in fog, like all this fog up here around his head. You can't even see his head. So that's a powerful message, and it's something that I was already addressing. La repression means repressed, like repressed emotions, for example. So we cannot do that. We have to clear ourselves. We have to go deep into what we're feeling. We have to examine our emotional landscape, our anger, our fears, our frustrations. For me, I do that through journaling, sometimes through meditations when I try and get guidance, see what else can I do to release that frustration or my anger, or I even write letters, dear anger, and I just write down what I'm angry about. And then you can also ask your higher self and tell her, higher self, what do you advise me to do in order to examine this anger or to release this anger? And then I write as my higher self back. So there's lots of little exercises you can do either in meditation or in your writing routine to examine that emotion that you're dealing with, whatever that emotion is, right? For me, it could have been frustration, anger. For you, it can be whatever other emotion that you're dealing with. Lots of people have been, of course, saying loneliness, those that are single and don't live with anybody and then went into lockdowns, didn't have that human interaction anymore. So you can investigate this loneliness. One of my clients shared beautifully that she was brought also to her knees and brought back to childhood when she was a child that felt very lonely. And so this pandemic might bring all our childhood wounds to the surface in one way or another. And it's only through this introspection and really digging deep into those emotions that we understand the root causes. Why are we feeling this way? And to really give our emotions a space in our daily lives and to not get into this energy of repressing, of practicing toxic positivity. You can practice, of course, having positive affirmations and doing all the positive things, but they will never work if we don't examine our true emotions first and deal with those. And then once we did that, we can invite in the positive practices, right? So it's a lot of deep work that it's needed. And it's not always easy, of course. Nobody loves to, entertain their anger or converse with their anger, but it's ultimately what sets us free. So that's the message I wanted to bring across today. If you have any questions once you watch this as a replay, feel free to comment in the comment section. And otherwise, again, thank you so much for everybody who purchased my beautiful book and who was tagging me. Once the book arrived, I'm really happy. And let's have a conversation in the comments. Let me know how you've been feeling during this pandemic, or if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. So lots of love from me. Kisses from Italy. Big hugs. Bye bye.